Today, we are diving into fiduciary duties for the national portion of the real estate exam. This concept forms the backbone of agency law, and you are guaranteed to see multiple questions testing your understanding of these 6 core obligations. We use the mnemonic OLD CAR to remember them, which stands for obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accounting, and reasonable care. Starting with obedience, the exam loves to test the limits of this duty. You must follow all lawful instructions from your client. The trick here is the word lawful. If a seller asks you to hide a leaky roof or to ignore certain buyers based on a protected class status, you cannot obey those instructions because they are illegal. On the exam, look for scenarios where a client asks for something unethical or illegal, and remember that your duty to the law supersedes your duty of obedience. Next is loyalty, which requires you to place your client's interests above everyone else's, including your own. This is often tested through scenarios involving self-dealing. For example, if you see a property listed that is a steal and you want to buy it for yourself, you must disclose your license status and ensure your client's interests were not compromised. Loyalty means you cannot let your desire for a quick commission influence the advice you give. If a low offer comes in and you encourage the seller to take it just so you can get paid faster, you are violating the duty of loyalty. Disclosure is the 3rd letter in our mnemonic, and it covers your obligation to reveal all material facts. A material fact is anything that might influence a person's decision to buy or sell. The exam often presents a situation where an agent knows about a basement flood that happened years ago but isn't currently visible. You must disclose this even if the seller tells you not to. A common trap is thinking that an as-is clause in a contract waives the duty to disclose. It does not. Latent defects, which are hidden problems, must always be disclosed to all parties, even if the property is being sold as is. Confidentiality is perhaps the most tested duty, because it is the only one that survives the termination of the agency relationship. You must keep your client's personal information, such as their motivation for moving or the lowest price they are willing to take, secret forever. If a seller is selling because of a divorce, you cannot tell a buyer's agent that information to help move the deal along, unless your client has given you written permission. Even after the house is sold and the file is closed, you still owe that client the duty of confidentiality. Accounting focuses on the money. You must be able to track all funds, such as earnest money deposits, that pass through your hands. The exam will definitely ask about commingling and conversion. Commingling is the act of mixing the client's money with your personal or brokerage business funds. Conversion is the actual spending of that money. Both are illegal and will result in the loss of your license. Always remember that earnest money belongs in a dedicated trust or escrow account, not your personal checking account. Finally, we have reasonable care. This is about your professional competence. You are expected to have more knowledge than a layperson, but you are not expected to be an expert in everything. If a buyer asks about the structural integrity of a foundation, reasonable care means you should advise them to hire a professional inspector rather than giving them your own amateur opinion. If you give advice outside your area of expertise, like legal or tax advice, you are failing to exercise reasonable care and opening yourself up to a lawsuit. On the exam, these duties are often presented in situational questions where you have to choose the best course of action. Always ask yourself which duty is being challenged, and remember that OLD CAR represents your primary obligations. By keeping these 6 pillars in mind, you will be able to navigate the trickiest agency questions with confidence.